A historic tax reform that was 17 years in the making. The goods and service tax has come into force, and India is finally one nation with one tax. But after the fanfare comes the confusion and the uncertainty.
So new amendments are there, and how GST is different for different sectors. So people are yet to get the clarification on it.
This is not the time when I should judge GST, because this is, right now the whole effect won't come so early. It will take nearly 2 to 3 months.
When the new bill came, it came with an additional GST. So the thali for 260, I paid it for 290. So within one day, there was an increase of 30 rupees.
Cinema theatres in Tamil Nadu remain shut today after theatre owners across the state called for an indefinite bandh to protest against the 30% tax levied by the municipal corporation in addition to the goods and service tax.
Over 1,000 theatres in Tamil Nadu have been shut down owing to the double taxation issue. Apart from the GST, there is also local body tax of about 30% that would be collected in the state. Tamil Nadu is the only state where there would be double taxation, and theatre owners are standing against this. We also hear that the theatre owners would be intensifying their strike if the demands are not being met. The state government has, however, promised to look into this issue. Finance Minister D. Jayakumar has agreed to take this issue to Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy. Theatre owners are hopeful that there would be a positive verdict by the end of the day.
Well, 1,100 theatres in Tamil Nadu have gone on strike against double taxation after the GST rollout. But confusion over GST has increased and has spread across the country. We've been talking to restaurateurs, to people who run small businesses, to people who are in the cloth or the fabric business. There seems to be a lot of confusion. And I want to remind our viewers that it is not our attempt here on this show to talk about whether GST is good or bad. GST is here. And the quicker we can adjust to it and jump and hit the ground running, get back on our feet, the better it is for all of us as an economy and as a country. Our attempt on this show on a regular basis will be to highlight the issues to the powers in government so they can solve the issues one by one. If there are specific sectors that are facing problems right now, our attempt will be to highlight those sectors so that the government can fix the problems that these sectors are facing. Our phone lines are also open for viewers who are confused about GST and you want help right now. We are going to take up every single issue on this channel, because as we look at it, whether it is GST or crime or anything else, it is the citizen who comes first. Joining me on the show this evening, Gopal Agarwal, National Spokesperson of the BJP. We're glad to have him. Sanjay Jha, National Spokesperson of the Congress Party. Sumansi Raman, Political Commentator. Dilip Datwani is the Vice President of the Federation of Hotel and Restaurant Associations of India. Ved Jain is a tax expert. Sanjay Thori is the Joint Secretary of the Chamber of Textile and Trade Industry, Kolkata. Praveen Chorbole is the President of the Pune Merchant Chambers, and Ashwini Kakkar is the Vice President of Mercury Travels. They each bring in their specific point of view into what's happening. I want to start with Sumansi Raman. Sumansi Raman, a fair amount of confusion in Tamil Nadu. We know that GST should have replaced all municipal taxes, but here you have a 30% tax on top of what was already there. Total tax on tickets now going up to 58%. What's going on, Sumansi Raman?
Yeah, I think that the government is using a kind of a loophole where local bodies are allowed to levy their taxes, so that has not gone away. And through that they've imposed this, because normally the entertainment tax should have been subsumed under GST, but here in this case they are levying it as a tax by local bodies, and therefore they are adding 30% on top of the 28% GST and making a tax rate of 58%. Now this is approximately about 15 to 16% more than the existing tax rates, currently that theatre owners are having to pay, and therefore naturally they will have to pass on the entire burden onto the consumer. Now clearly the theatre owners are going to suffer indirectly, in the sense that their patronage is going to get reduced because of the higher ticket rates, and therefore they have a problem with it. But in Tamil Nadu there have been 2 or 3 major areas of confusion. One is of course the restaurants, where we had a huge problem because many of the restaurants were actually, most of the popular ones at least, not the 5-star but the other ones, were all charging 2% of VAT. And on top of that, there was about 5.6% of service tax. So you were getting a total of around 8%, including Swachh Bharat and Krishi Kalyan cess. Now that's gone up to 18%. So that's hit the man, the middle class who are going to eating out. Instantly, it's hit them with an additional 10%. And the second one, of course, is the cinema. So in Tamil Nadu, there's a lot of confusion. I think that, and of course, the third big issue in Tamil Nadu is crackers, where Sivagasi, an entire town depends on the cracker industry. It's the largest cracker making center in the country. And you've got a 28% GST on crackers. So I think that these three major areas have really sort of affected sentiment as far as the GST is concerned. There are, of course, business community, many segments who sort of realize that it's there to stay, and the sooner we get used to it, the better, and have got on with life, and that's what is going to eventually happen. But there are these sectors which are worried, and obviously they take hope from the fact that the GST Council has said that they will continue to sort of rectify anomalies in the tax rate as they go along. So they're hoping for relief on each of these. As far as the theatre issue is concerned, they're hoping that the state government will give some relief on this 30% tax that they have slapped at the municipal level. So I think that that is currently the position in Tamil Nadu. Businesses have started to get used to it, started to move on. You see advertisements for software which are GST compliant and so on. So things have started to move.
Ashwini Kakkar, Vice President, Mercury Travels. Sumansi Raman is right. We have to get used to it. We have to move on. But were you prepared? Was business prepared? Do you think that business had enough time to be ready for this?
Well, I think the first thing is that it's a really laudable effort, and I really am pretty happy that the long-term effects of this are going to be absolutely fantastic for the whole country. Now, short-term, there's a bit of complexity, there's a bit of chaos, and I think in the implementation side, I think things will get better. I have no doubt as we move on with this whole thing. Now, in the travel sector, I think there are a couple of big anomalies that I want to point out. The first one is that airline tickets have been taxed and there is an incidence of double taxation. Why? Because what has been included in the tax is basic fare plus fuel charges plus some other charges. So fuel charges are about 40% of the total ticket price. And fuel is charged tax already at 57%.
Already being taxed.
So effectively, the customer on the whole price has already paid 23% tax. Now, on top of this, if you say that, on the airline ticket price, you're going to pay either 5% or 12% or whatever extra, then I think the first thing is all taxes on air travel must be removed because the customer has already paid 23% of the entire ticket price as tax. So that is one anomaly. The other one is the complexity of this whole travel industry business, because on an airlines, if you book economy class ticket, you get this. And if you book a business class ticket, then it's 12%. In economy class, there's no set-offs. In business class, there are set-offs. If a hotel, 0 to 1,000 rupees, 0 tax, 1,000 to 2,000, 12% tax. Then there is 18% tax. Then there's 28% tax. However, if you eat in the hotel, it's 28%. If you eat in an air-conditioned or non-air-conditioned, it's different. And then if you do a rail booking in AC class, then it's 5%. But however, and so on and so forth, and cruise is 5%, and car rentals is 5%.
Not only do you know,
but if you book a tour which includes 1 or 2 or 3 elements of this, on top of all the taxes that you've paid, there's a 5% surcharge. However, on that surcharge, there is no set-off. So I think
not only do businesses not know right now how much tax to put on your bill and how to charge that tax. Customers don't know what they should or should not be paying. It's really complicated. The number of phone calls we received, the number of tweets we received over this weekend, people telling us that they thought they were being overcharged and they had absolutely no way of checking because every bill was so complex. And I want to take this to Gopal Agarwal. Gopal Agarwal, people have sent us photographs of their bills over the weekend where they were being charged in some cases VAT and GST, both state and central, and in some cases going up to 24-25%. They were not really sure about what that was. There is a lot of confusion. What is the government doing, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, to clear up the confusion right now?
This is the implementation problem that we were talking. Initially, there will be hiccups because of the classification issues. And there is a issue with regard to where there is a multiple component on a particular thing. When you are supplying or selling a mobile phone, there is a charger, there is a battery, then the three components are sold together in a box. There are different rates on the three items, and what is the GST has said, GST rule says that you have to charge a rate at the principal component. Then somebody may discuss that battery is a principal component. So these kind of issues will come up, and the service industry being new with input tax credit for excise and other issues, so there are initial hiccups which will be sorted out, because once there is a fixed HSN code, once that HSN code is fixed by the process either through the government or through the professional bodies or through business communities or among themselves, then once this HSN code is fixed for each item, these issues will be sorted out. So we have to wait for them, and therefore today the cabinet secretary has himself taken a meeting of all the secretaries of various departments to look into the issues arising on implementations. So
the problem that Sumansi Raman pointed out of Tamil Nadu's theatres right now, is there anything that you're looking at right now to solve that problem? Sanjay Jha, I see your hand come up. I'm going to come to you. I just want this one answer for Sumansi Raman.
Yeah, definitely. No, because as has been maintained, just let me finish first. The issue with Tamil Nadu in itself is that the state governments are also not conversant, so they should not have levied this kind of tax through an indirect mechanism of local bodies. The government will sort it out. We never said that there will be no issues, but we are open to sort out. It's a ongoing process. We have said that GST implementation is not an
Mr. Agarwal, you're telling me state governments are not prepared. All of the state finance ministers were part of the GST Council. How could we have brought in such a massive change when state governments are not prepared? We have businessmen telling us businessmen are not prepared. Citizens, in the meantime, while you say wait, we can't. 1 second, sir. Let me make my point. While you say wait it out, things will get better. In the meantime, we are paying 20, 30, 40 rupees more for everything that we spend money on while we wait for things to settle. And let's also point out the fact that the government has no intention to bring in an anti-profiteering clause. The government says let market forces settle this down. In the meantime, we are paying 320 rupees for something that should cost us 270 rupees. All of that is going to add up on our budgets at the end of the month. I want to bring in Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha wanted to respond to that. Sanjay Jha, go ahead.
No, one small point I want to mention is...
Okay.
Can I mention one?
Go ahead. Let me just. Okay. Let Gopal Agarwal make his point.
One point is that when Sure. Yeah, just small point. We have said every time that the basic cost of every product may have to be reworked. If the tax benefit has to be transferred to the consumers, there are so many input tax credit which have to be incorporated into the pricing mechanism of each product. So that process in itself is a challenge, but ultimately if you want to take the benefit of GST, reduce cost, higher compliance, ease of doing business, so these are the challenges, initial hiccups which we have to bear and take the full benefit of the whole concept.
All right, Sanjay Jha.
Faye, I don't agree with Mr. Agarwal at all that, we will have to go through this problem of teething issues and all kinds of operational glitches. The truth is that we had recommended to them that you can actually run it for a 2-month trial basis. The constitutional amendment gives them time till September 15 to actually effectuate the GST bill. So why this great hurry is absolutely inexplicable. Let me tell you the other point. On a critical commodity like fertilizers and pesticides that affects the entire farming community in India, a few hours before that midnight drama happened, the GST Council decided to reduce the tax rates of GST. Now, if you're going to approach such a critical issue of taxation of different commodities and services in an ad hoc manner, clearly you're not prepared. Now, I'll give you an example here again. I mean, on gold, you have a rate of GST rate of 3%. On many essential medicines, the rate is 12%. I mean, anybody will tell you in a country where healthcare is such a big problem and gold is consumed by the rich and the affluent and the medicines by all of us, why would you have such a high GST rate? So there are many absurd, and I call it as atrocious anomalies within the GST. Now, the problem that you are having, this is the point that you are raising today in your debate.
Can I say one question?
The reason why
Mr.
there is confusion all over is because GST ideally fair. Just 1 second, Agarwalji, I didn't interrupt you. In fact, I waited for you to finish. Please, reciprocate the same sentiment here. The reason why there is confusion and, people are feeling extremely cheated is because GST was actually supposed to be a single tax rate for the entire country. Now, we do understand it doesn't mean that one tax rate for all commodities, but you had to have one tax rate with a plus minus depending upon whether it was a popular mass consumption good or a demerit good like luxury cars. What they have created is such a multi-tiered structure that if you add the different cesses on luxury goods, you have 8 or 9 GST rates in India. So at the very principle of GST has been defeated to begin with.
Okay,
that's
so you're saying it's too complex.
And
all right, Sanjay Jha is saying it's too complex.
Community, I think especially the small farmers. Yeah, I think the reason why the small people are really affected
Sanjay, let me bring in the other voices on the panel right now. Let me bring in the other voices and I'll come back for responses.
Sure.
I want to bring in Dilip Datwani. Dilip Datwani represents the hoteliers and the restaurateurs, and they are having such a difficult time. And I want to keep pointing out, what happens when there's a lack of clarity? WhatsApp becomes this monstrous thing where people start to share unverified information to cause even more confusion. Like this one WhatsApp message that did the round saying if you pay any of your utility bills by credit card, you will be paying double tax. It's not true at all. But because there's so much confusion, there is room for WhatsApp to come in and take over and all of this unverified information to start becoming something that people are feeding on. So Dilip Datwani, what's happening right now within the restaurateurs industry? How hard is it?
We have a lot of confusion, especially with the smaller players, the small restaurants, small hotels, who are really not prepared and really don't know what's happening, where to go, what to go. We're getting queries by the dozen every hour. There are 4 people from our association just answering the queries, and there are times we are also lost. What do we tell? Delhi, there is a 20% tax on liquor in addition to the GST. Mumbai, we have 5% because the VAT has been retained already in the purchase price. So there are many anomalies, and see, I understand it's a very big decision the Prime Minister has taken, but we should have got some more time actually to get prepared. And I think...
Are you getting enough help, Mr. Datwani? Are you getting enough help from the people who are supposed to be training? There are government officers who are supposed to be dedicating their time right now to training small businesses and helping them cope. Is that actually happening?
No, it's not happening. And we in fact are going to, we've already held many GST seminars to explain the Act to the people, to our members, and we again are going to have one more or maybe few more throughout our region to explain the different FAQs we have prepared, what are the frequently asked questions, so that we can give them the answers. And we are still compiling. There are so many questions, questions.
Let me also bring in Praveen Chorbole, who is the president of the Pune Merchant Chambers, joining us from the Pune studio right now. Praveen ji, आप बताइए क्या अभी जो जितने सारे small businesses हैं वो कोप कर पा रहे हैं, GST को समझ में आ रहे हैं लोगों की?
नहीं, उसमें समझने में थोड़ी सी दिक्कत आ रही है, क्योंकि छोटे-छोटे जो दुकानदार हैं, उस दुकानदार के पास कम से कम 15 से 20 हज़ार आइटम अलग-अलग प्रकार के होते हैं. अभी इसमें 4 स्टेप GST में लगे हुए हैं, एक 0% में, एक 5% में और एक 12% में, 18% और उसके बाद 25% में. तो इसके कारण अलग अलग आइटम के ऊपर अलग अलग GST का रेट होने के कारण छोटे छोटे दुकानदारों को बहुत तकलीफ हो रही है. अभी छोटे दुकानदार कैसे होते कि कुछ दुकानों में खुद आदमी सर्विस देता है, तो इसके कारण उसके पास कोई आदमी नहीं होता है. अभी उसको कंपलसरी कंप्यूटराइज करके वो पूरे आइटम उसको GST के अंदर लाना पड़ेगा और उसके साथ उसको एक आदमी पर्सनल अलग सा रखना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि हर दुकान में अलग अलग आइटम के रेट होने के कारण छोटे छोटे दुकानदारों को इससे दिक्कत होने वाली है. और अनाज के ऊपर सब बोलने गए तो अनब्रांडेड और ब्रांडेड, इसके ऊपर गवर्नमेंट ने थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूज कर दिया है. कुछ 5% में रखा हुआ है और कुछ 0% में रखा है. जो लूज माल बेच रहे हैं उसको 0% में रखा है और जो पैकेजिंग माल है उसके ऊपर 5% रखा है. परंतु 29 तारीख को गवर्नमेंट का एक GR आया है कि सिर्फ रजिस्टर्ड ब्रांडेड को 5% में लाया गया है। परंतु इसके कारण जो एक प्रकार के जो चावल होते हैं, जो चावल का जो एक आइटम है वो अलग अलग प्रकार के होते हैं, कुछ ब्रांडेड में आता है और कुछ अनब्रांडेड में आता है। इसके कारण
So there's so much confusion. I want to take this question to Suman C. Raman because I know he has to leave in a bit. Suman C. Raman, Ashwini Kakkad in his nice suit and the people who run Kirana stores are all equally confused at this point. There is a massive disservice that is being done to the businessmen of our country.
Yeah, I think, Faye, the issue is we were told that this was going to simplify things. Now, we may just be having one tax which is complex in as many ways as maybe 5 different taxes were earlier, and we may not know, we may not see a massive amount of change because of the complexity. I think in the long run, perhaps the government may regret this kind of nitpicking and creating so many slabs. Certainly a lot of people said that having just 2 slabs, one for what common people, the man in the street would consume, and one for everything else, would probably have been a better idea. But the bigger issue is what seems to be coming out is a lack of planning in this entire exercise. Last minute things are being changed. This is, if you recall, the idea seems to be that you will have to undergo pain now, and hopefully there will be a benefit at the end of the line. This is exactly what we were told for demonetization, and we are still waiting to see where we are going to have the benefit at the end of the line. Now another exercise we have launched. I'm sure over the next few days, believe me, you will see a lot of changes in the rates. You will see a lot of tinkering around. So it does look like much of this, such an exercise across the whole country, a massive one at that, is being sort of launched without actually having been thought through fully. And that is what is really worrying about the government, because this is not the first time this is happening. One needs to have thought this through, simplified it, and I'm sure that, eventually people will have to live with it. But the question is, will it achieve the objective that it was meant to achieve? Simple example, many of the small traders were even asking, does it make sense for us to go for the composition scheme, or should we lose the input credit that we will get? They don't know. I mean, how do you calculate? Who explains all these things? I mean, the whole thing is, at this point of time, hugely confusing. Hopefully, we will get some clarity in the next couple of months. But I certainly believe that the number of rates has really opened up a Pandora's box.
Absolutely. Let me take that question to Gopal Krishna Agarwal. Agra, Surat, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, there have been protests from traders across the country. And I want you to respond to what Suman C. Raman said, which is basically the promise of put up with the pain now and you will get, put up with the pain now and you will get rewarded some point down the line. This sounds familiar, Gopal Krishna Agarwal. This is exactly what was said to us during demonetization. Where is the benefit right now? And the footage that you're looking at on your screen, this is New Delhi. These people who are protesting, who's going to save their businesses if they're going to have to down shutters because they haven't been able to keep up?
Faye, you have raised 3 or 4 questions. Just give me some time, I'll explain them. One thing is that the small small traders or manufacturers whose turnover is less than 20 lakhs, they are out of the GST ambit and they should not worry about things. The second question he asked was that for the composite scheme, for those people who have a turnover of between 20 lakhs to 75 lakhs, whether they should go for composite scheme and they have to only pay 1% of their turnover. That's a very simple process, and I think most of the people should go for composite scheme. But still, I tell you, the third important question is about the classification. Once this HSN code is stabilized, then they will not have any problems. I suggest them that don't go on WhatsApp messages. For the benefit of your viewers, I tell them don't go on rumors, don't go on WhatsApp messages. Ask for an informed expert opinion either from your tax consultant or from a person from the government or from an authentic source. Don't go for rumors. There are a lot of rumors
Gopal Krishna
going on.
I will tell you that in the 2019 election, the tax consultants will definitely vote for this government because they are very pleased. But go ahead, Ashwini Kakkad.
अग्रवाल जी, एक सवाल आपसे ये पूछना है कि आप बोल रहे हैं कि 20 लाख रुपए,
just let me, नहीं, 1 मिनट और, एक मिनट, एक मिनट मेरी बात पूरी हो जाने दीजिए। 20 लाख से 75 लाख से ऊपर जिनका टर्नओवर है उनको टैक्स कंसल्टेंट को ले लेना चाहिए, क्योंकि उनको रिटर्न भरने पहले बार में, और इट्स ए ट्रांजिशन पीरियड। दे शुड नॉट टेक, लॉ हैज टू बी अंडरस्टूड एज इट इज। जनरली वी कंपेयर इट व्हाट देयर लॉजिक इट शुड बी। नो
यस। तो अग्रवाल जी आपसे एक ये सवाल है, आप बोल रहे हैं कि 20 लाख रुपए तक, 20 लाख रुपए का जिसका टर्नओवर है एक साल का, उसका मतलब ये होता है कि हर रोज का 5,000 रुपए का वो बिक्री करेगा तो उसका 20 लाख खत्म हो गया। तो 5,000 रुपए से ज्यादा तो छोटे से छोटा किराना स्टोर भी 5,000 रुपए से ज्यादा कर रहा है। सो एक बात तो ये सोचने की है कि ये 20 लाख की लिमिट रियलिस्टिक है कि नहीं है। 5,000 का टर्नओवर, 5,000 का प्रॉफिट नहीं है सर, ये 5,000 का टर्नओवर है। उसमें 20 आइटम बिक गए उसकी बेचारे की, तो उसका 5,000 का टर्नओवर रोज का खलस हो गया। दूसरी बात मैं आपसे ये कहूंगा, मेरी कंपनी में एंटरप्राइज रिसोर्स प्लानिंग सॉफ्टवेयर लगी हुई है। मैंने सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी को बुलाया, मैंने बोला जी ये जीएसटी के चेंजेस करने हैं। वो बोलते हैं CGST है, UT GST है, इंटरस्टेट GST है, और ये 4 प्रकार के GST हैं। उसके अलावा 3 दिनों को अलग अलग रिपोर्ट्स जाएंगे। उसके अलावा ये कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी आपकी इंडस्ट्री की जो है, तो उन्होंने मेरे से 55 लाख रुपया सॉफ्टवेयर चेंज करने के लिए पूछा है। अब मैं किसके पास जाऊं कि 55 लाख मुझे राइट ऑफ मिलेगा, उसका मुझे उसका क्रेडिट मिलेगा? सर मेरी विनती ये है कि देखिए बहुत अच्छा ये कदम है, मगर इस कदम को इकट्ठे सरकार को और हमको मिलकर और सक्सेस की ओर ले जाना पड़ेगा।
पहली बात है, आप ये मान के चलिए कि हमें टैक्स कंप्लायंस बढ़ाने की तरफ लोग चाहिए। अगर हमारे पास 78 लाख लोग इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न भरते हैं, सुनिए उसमें से 61 लाख लोग ही हैं, जो 61 लाख लोग हैं वो सैलरीड है। इसका मतलब 16-17 लाख लोग बिजनेस प्रोफेशन सब कम्युनिटी में इतने ही लोग हैं जो जिनकी टैक्सेबल इनकम है। तो कहीं ना कहीं टैक्स कंप्लायंस कम था, इसीलिए 20 लाख की लिमिट रखी है कि बाकी लोगों को टैक्स देना चाहिए, कंप्लायंस होना चाहिए। या तो
अग्रवाल जी, वी आर नॉट आर्ग्यूइंग विद द आइडिया ऑफ जीएसटी, वी आर आर्ग्यूइंग
20 लाख वाला भी तो टैक्स देगा। आपने उसको कंपोजिट स्कीम में डाल दिया, वो भी कंपोजिट स्कीम में टैक्स तो देगा ही देगा, पर लिमिट रीजनेबल रख देते तो उसमें क्या जाता? अगर आप 20 लाख के बजाय उसकी 60 लाख की लिमिट रख दे, 5 लाख रुपया महीना हो जाए।
Let me bring in Sanjay Todi. Sanjay Todi is the Joint Secretary of the Chamber of Textile and Trade and Industry in Kolkata. संजय तोड़ी, एक मिनट अग्रवाल जी इनकी बात सुन लीजिए। संजय तोड़ी है। संजय जी, what is going on right now in the business that you recommend? Yes,
मैं बोलना चाहूंगा
जी,
मैं टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री, since I am from textile industry, so I'll talk about textile only.
Yes.
Textile was never under tax for last 60 years. All of a sudden, on 3rd of June, it was decided that textile will be put under GST, and 5%, 18% and job work, 18% which was reduced to 5% was implemented. Now, anybody for last 60 years who have not paid, was not under VAT scheme or any under sales tax, all of a sudden in 27 days, how is it possible to implement it, understand the GST? I totally agree with Mr. Jha that the anomalies are so much. What was the hurry? What was the hurry to, it should have been done in phase wise. Our Honorable Prime Minister has said goods and simple tax. It is very clear from the panelists over here, it's not simple, it's so complicated for small traders to comply with. That is the biggest issue right now.
It is
people
simple.
who don't know about compliance.
I tell you how it is simple.
And they are not. And they are not computer literate. Small traders are not computer literate.
I'll tell you how it is simple.
Let him speak. Let him speak.
Please go ahead.
But let me just bring in one more voice. Let me bring in one more voice. Ved Jain is a tax expert. He's the former chairperson of the ICAI. Mr. Jain, thank you for waiting patiently for so long. You've been listening to everybody. Mr. Jain, do you believe that this is... See, like I keep saying, we're not arguing about GST. GST is a good thing. In the long term, it's good for all of us. We're looking at implementation. Could it have been done better? Ved Jain.
After listening to so many persons on the debate, I would just like to clarify, as I understand, there are 5 issues which have so far arisen in the debate. One is the scope of the GST. You rightly mentioned in the beginning the Municipal Committee of Tamil Nadu levying this tax, entertainment tax, beyond the GST. That's a major concern on the scope, because if that happens, then the GST or the whole purpose will get in question. Because that's a major issue, because GST says one country, one tax. The rate may be different, but it cannot happen that on the same product or same item on same services, municipality or corporation or tomorrow the state government start levying taxes. This is a major issue which we should be cause of a concern and need to be addressed. The second issue which is arising, I believe the debate going around is, Mr. Sanjay Jha also raised the issue that why it was a great hurry and why it was not postponed to the September. I have a simple question to ask, that this decision to implement GST from 1st July was taken by the GST Council, comprising of the finance minister of each of the state, and we have a chief minister and the parties in the different states from different political setup. So none of the party, none of the finance minister raised any issue. Some murmur was there only from the West Bengal, where Amit Mitra ji has raised an issue that it should not be done. But it was a unanimous decision of each of the finance minister that it should be implemented from the 1st of July. So there was no issue about the implementation. The third issue is the rate of taxes, and one issue which is now being debated is the cloth people and merchant people are saying they have been put into taxes. You see, when taxes are to be levied, nobody wants to pay taxes. This is a human thinking and human cycle. But the problem is then when you are moving in one country, one tax, the scope has to be widened and every item has to be brought in. So if 70 years the cloth has not been taxed, this doesn't mean this will continue to be non-taxable. So one day the call has to be taken, and the GST rightly says that yes, it has to be, there has to be tax on each and every item, and the exemption has to be very few and the limited one. And the fourth issue which is arising is of inconsistency in the rates. As I believe from the travel agent, airlines, these issues have come up where there are inconsistencies. Yes, some of the issues. One issue is the petroleum, where I do agree that the petroleum is outside the net of the GST, and that's why you need to pay VAT and excise duty, etc. on the petroleum, and still on top of it you may be required to pay GST. So there is inconsistency, which is a conscious call taken, and somewhere down the line I believe some call has to be taken. Similarly on economy class or business class, some issues are arising. I believe these are inconsistency which over a period will get resolved also. That's an issue. One point was raised about the gold and the pharmaceutical being the rate being different, etc. I have two issues on that point. One, right, the question, you see, GST was being debated for the last 1 year, and it was clear that everything will be covered. To people say that we were not aware of it, maybe probably they were not in the right thought, and they were thinking, no, we will be still continue to be exempt. GST right from day one was being said it will be.
But Mr. Ved, just to be fair, if I go back to Ashwini Kakkar is not a small businessman. He was aware of the change. He was prepared for the change, but he still finds it complicated. Ashwini?
Sir, dekhiye, the whole issue is that
I'm coming to compliance.
It should not be so complex that somebody has to do a PhD in
compliance.
Sir, compliance is a separate matter, but I think first the thing is complexity. I think in terms of complexity, if you say to us even today, ki sir, this is the rate, this is what the whole industry, this industry is classified under 12% or 5% or whatever percent, the industry has to pay every element, everybody who's adding any value in that system has to pay that rate, finished. Now what is the point of making it so complex that, if to understand this, I mean, I have 4 degrees, sir. I'm an engineer, I have MBA, I have, finance degree, and I have a law degree. And for me, if it is difficult to understand, I can assure you that for the small trader, for the small people, it is extremely difficult to understand, and it places the small MSME, the small and medium enterprise at a big disadvantage to the large multinational corporations who find it very easy. Computerize kara diya, chalo sab kuch chal jayega.
Allow me for 1 minute to just place one more thing in front of this panel. We constantly saying that this is going to take time to settle, that we have to give it time. I want to understand, if we have the time, can we afford the time? How many jobs will be lost if businesses aren't able to quickly cope? I want to take this question right now to Dilip Tatwani. Dilip Tatwani, the industry of restaurants and hotels have already, had a couple of blows dealt to them. How many jobs are at stake right now if you're not able to quickly get on top of the GST problem as well?
I think the small businesses will get wiped out because they would not be able to compete. Now you're talking about putting in computers and then again a computer literate person to man the computer. There'll be 2 shifts, 2 people additional. What do we do? Where do we get the money from? These are small businesses.
Power to run the
like you just mentioned, you go to a South Indian restaurant, you make a bill of 250, and again the taxes are gone up because you come into the purview of GST suddenly. You were under the composite scheme earlier, but because in your wisdom you thought only 75 lakhs will be given. Above that, you have to be taxed.
Wrong argument to give.
Sir, let me finish. Just 1 minute, sir.
Let him make his point and then you can rebut him. Let him make his point.
That the tax payment
another part is we have a restaurant which has got partly air conditioned, partly non-AC. But now they say, sorry, if you are partly non-AC also, the 18% tax goes. It has to be levied. Now tell me a person who's been a regular over there, who's been eating over there, his bill is 200, suddenly becomes 236. So where is he going to get the money from? Ultimately, the blame comes on us. Okay, you all are overcharging. Who's going to face that, sir? Just because you can't trust the taxpayers.
Is showing so much of innocence when there is a large-scale non-tax compliance. Tax evasion is a part of the whole system.
Sir, enforcement.
The economy. We have lost revenue.
You made the liquor ban where the enforcement was loose. Okay, there are establishments which are closed.
Who are the people in Panama Papers? Go catch them.
But that is not reaching to the government.
No, we keep talking, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, nobody is arguing GST. We're talking about implementation. Is there a way to save the smaller businesses from getting wiped out? Because if they do get wiped out, we will lose more jobs than we can afford. We cannot lose jobs. India is already in a job crisis. Another thing that you will not acknowledge.
30 seconds.
Okay, all right. Let's give Gopal Krishna Agarwal 30 seconds. Go ahead. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, your 30 seconds begin now.
Faye, I want to give a rejoinder to Mr. Agarwal.
There will be a lot of unemployment generated because of this.
Because if you want to say that tax compliance is not required, it is not the call of the day, then you can give this kind of agreement. Unless every 125 crore of the population is paying tax, but it is not reaching to the government coffers because of large-scale tax evasion that we want to capture and that we want to control. For that, if there is some problem, people will have to bear with that.
Sir, a very noble thought. We all want to. We are the taxpayers.
We also want to control that.
No, but see, Mr. Agarwal, I'm going to take this to Sanjay Todi and to Praveen ji, मुझे ये बताइए, गोपाल कृष्ण अग्रवाल का कहना है कि थोड़ा सा अगर आप सहन करते हो अभी, तो बाद में सबकी भलाई हो जाएगी. क्या सहन करने की शक्ति है अभी छोटे बिजनेसमैन में?
नहीं, अभी छोटे बिजनेस वालों की अभी हालत ऐसी है.
टैक्स कंप्लायंस का क्या होगा?
Let him answer. Praveen ji, go ahead.
हाँ, मुझे यही कहना है कि छोटे-छोटे गांवों में आज भी इलेक्ट्रिक का प्रॉब्लम बड़े पैमाने पे चालू है. वहाँ पे इंटरनेट की सुविधा नहीं है. फिर भी वहाँ पे व्यापारी कैसा काम करेंगे, ये सबसे बड़ा प्रश्न है. जीएसटी का हम स्वागत करते हैं, परंतु ये करते समय कुछ व्यापारियों को विश्वास में लेके अगर ये जीएसटी के कुछ नियम बनाते थे तो एक अच्छा काम हो जाता था. परंतु मुझे यही कहना चाहता हूँ कि छोटे व्यापारियों को इसमें कुछ दिन के लिए सहूलत देनी चाहिए कि जिसके कारण जीएसटी के माध्यम से लोग व्यापारी कर भरने में कभी नहीं बोलते नहीं है. वो पहले कर भरने के लिए तैयार होते हैं, परंतु इसके लिए कुछ सहूलत देनी चाहिए. छोटे छोटे सेमिनार लेके व्यापारियों को समझाना चाहिए था कि जीएसटी के माध्यम से कैसा अपने व्यापार कर सकते. अगर ये अच्छी तरह से कर देते तो एक अच्छी तरह से जीएसटी की अमल बजावनी अच्छी तरह से हो जाती, ऐसा मुझे लगता है. और आज अनाज में ब्रांडेड और अनब्रांडेड में जो तफावत है, इसके कारण हम सब व्यापारी लोग कंफ्यूज में अब.
Alright, I have one more voice to begin. I want Sanjay Todi.
अनाज जो है ये 0% में होना चाहिए, क्योंकि एक जो जीवनावश्यक वस्तु है, ये छोटे से छोटा आदमी भी और बड़े से बड़ा आदमी भी अनाज का यूज करता है. तो इसके लिए 0% में अगर ये रहने के कारण
दिक्कत कर रहे हैं, अब कह रहे हैं अनाज 0% पे होना चाहिए, टेक्सटाइल वाले कह रहे हैं कि हमारे पे टैक्स मत लगाइए, तो मतलब आप काउंटर
Gopal Krishna Agarwal, here's my question then. I agree more than you know that I agree more than anybody else that the burden that is currently being lifted by the salaried class of this country needs to be spread across everyone. Now please tell me, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, does the government have an intention to tax rich farmers who are making crores and crores of rupees from agriculture and paying no tax at all?
नहीं मैम, मुझे ये कहना है कि इसके पहले अनाज पूरा 0% में था।
कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली इन द स्टेट सब्जेक्ट। एक और बात कहना हूँ कि जो टैक्स इवेजन एग्रीकल्चर इनकम के नाम पे कर रहे हैं,
तो entertainment is also a state subject. After you've brought in such a massive reform, you can't turn around and say because it's a state subject I can't touch it. I mean, we've touched every article in the market right now, state subject or national subject. So you've proven beyond a doubt that this government has the ability.
The has signed up for it.
Yes, you've proven beyond a doubt this government has the ability to bring in massive reform. What we're looking at on our screen is earlier today where the police had to lathi charge traders in Surat because they were protesting against GST. That's the visual that's running on your screen right now. This is Surat, where small businessmen were protesting and it resulted in a lathi charge. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, go ahead.
Yes, what I want to say is that 65% of our population is dependent on agriculture, which is contributing to only 13% of GDP. In that state of affairs, when we have large population under BPL, so we have a economic system has been developed over the years where there is a lot of concentration of wealth to few percent. So there has to be a distribution of income. That's also an important issue. Ultimately, economic policy has to look into the distribution aspect also. So these are different issues, but I tell you, GST is a reform for tax compliance and ultimately reduce the indirect tax through reduction in cost, reduction in taxation over a period of time.
Okay, Sanjay Jha, my only concern is the period of time. If, let me give you an example, idlis would cost me 80 and now they cost me 100 rupees, that's 20 rupees extra going out of the household budget. And remember, this tax is on everything. Every bar of soap, every gas cylinder that you order into your house, everything that you spend on will be a differential for the next couple of months. Can you afford it? In this country, can we afford that sort of an inflationary effect on everything that we buy and every service that we access? Sanjay Jha, go ahead.
Faye, I want to tell you the shocking insensitivity displayed by the government, because on wheelchairs, which is used by people suffering a physical disability, there's a 12% GST on wheelchairs. On braille typewriters, there's a 12% GST. I mean, these are ridiculous propositions. I mean, it's absolutely shocking as to how the government has actually believed that these are legitimate GST taxes on those who need our support. So I think there is a fundamental flaw, and the flaw is, I disagree with some gentleman who said we had 1 year's time. Well, let me tell you, the GST was delayed by the BJP for 7 years. They delayed it by 7 years. Let me correct you, Mr. Agarwal. I am aware of how the GST Council works. Faye, for the benefit of your viewers, the GST Council, actually the non-BJP states did not have much of a choice to even protest, because the rule was that if you don't sign up for the GST bill, you will actually be denied the input tax credit and your consumers and your producers will suffer. They all had to comply. Why doesn't Mr. Agarwal tell us why the J&K government, where the BJP is in power, by the way, hasn't signed on the GST till today? So what was the compelling hurry is beyond us at this point. We did not say don't launch the GST, we said give it a trial basis. And all these problems, these are operational problems or these are tax related problems that could have been sorted out through a consensus, have actually been put in the back burner. Now you have a situation where people are going to be affected, they are going to lose business, people will lose jobs, and by the way, the cost of those losses is going to be borne by the common man. The government of the rich and the affluent is not going to be affected at all. Don't forget, Faye, real estate, alcohol, petroleum products and electricity is not even part of the GST. So roughly 40% of the revenue base is not part of the GST. And the government of the day hasn't told us by what time frame will these become part of the GST. So there is a lot of grey areas, it's nebulous, and Mr. Agarwal is trying to basically
Sanjay Tori, go ahead.
It is definitely a compliance problem right now, which will create a lot of unemployment, especially in our textile field. There will be a lot of unemployment. Small traders are not computer literate, they cannot afford this, and the cost of hiring a professional to run it, we are working on a very thin, wafer-thin margin, and we cannot accept the fact, the extra cost involved in it. So there will be unemployment, and you must understand that textile is a chain where a lot of people are involved, a lot of job workers are involved. These small job workers will be the real sufferer. So the point, I agree with Mr. Jha, is what was the hurry? It could have been done in a phases where certain items could have been done for a year.
This is the interesting thing, Sanjay Tori. If you have a turnover of 5,000 rupees a day, can you afford a computer? More importantly, can you afford a chartered accountant to look through all of your papers and do your filing for you? And let me tell you, a lot of people have called us to say that chartered accountants have upped their rates.
No, it is not affordable because the cost of 15,000, 20,000 rupees on a monthly basis
for
to
a
keep
turnover
a computer
of 20 lakh,
operator and take a consultant, it's not absolutely possible.
कहा गया था कि GST आने के बाद
the CAs have already jacked up the rates.
Plus,
the chartered accountant
there is a lot of confusion. Just one second, gentlemen, one at a time. I'm going to go back to Ved Jain. One second. Ved Jain, who is the tax expert here. Ved Jain, I know that the people who are really happy at this point are the chartered accountants themselves because their work has just been quadrupled. But please tell me, do you believe that businesses which are in textiles, which are in smaller shops, will be able to meet the cost of compliance? Because they're going to have to right now comply. They don't have a choice.
No, they won't be able to meet the cost of the compliance.
Let me clarify. That's an issue which I was in. I will answer this question. Please listen me carefully on this issue. As on date, in all states in India, every person who has a turnover of more than rupees 10 lakh is required to get a VAT registration. It's mandatory. And that person is required to file the return quarterly. Every quarter he is supposed to file. So those people who are saying that 5,000 rupees turnover per day is minimal and is not there, they are incorrect, because I will answer your question on textile also. The issue is that even in a small village, if a person, a shopkeeper, has a turnover of more than rupees 10 lakh within that state, he is liable to have VAT registration and comply the tax law as on date before the GST came into. I am coming to your textile. See, the people in textile industry all along was under an impression that we are beyond the law and there should not be tax. To assume even as on date, if the people in textile industry has a turnover of less than 20 lakh rupees, they did not worry, because up to 5,000 rupees there is no issue. Between 20 to 75 lakh rupees, all retailer which turnover turns out to be roughly 25,000 rupees per day if I take 300 days in the year working days. So 25,000 rupees they can get out, they can do the business as it is what they were doing, just paying 1% tax and filing a quarterly return, nothing beyond that. Now the question is,
if you go in
let me
you cannot do interstate trade, you cannot take credit, and you won't be competitive.
All right, gentlemen, I have run out of time. Wait, Jen, we will continue this discussion and we will have another show. But I've run out of time at this point. I have to stop you because we have a limited amount of time. One thing is for sure, that there is confusion. Ashwini.
Through this medium, through this channel, we want to request the government that, please entertain this dialogue and please, get these things sorted out, because we all believe in GST. We want to implement GST. We want it to do good for the nation. So I think we all have to come together to make this a huge success.
Right. While I wrap up, I want to thank Gopal Krishna Agarwal for coming in and listening to all of the problems that we've pointed out. There obviously seems to be a problem, Gopal Agarwal, to begin with, in Chennai, where theatres are being taxed an extra 30% from the municipal authority. Obviously something that should not happen after GST. My other concern, as always, is for petrol and diesel. Why is petrol and diesel left out of GST? This will only allow states to continue to levy the kind of tax that we're already looking at. Remember, actual 1 litre of petrol costs about 29 rupees. From 29 rupees to upwards of 70, that's all tax. And that will not be cleaned up by GST. That's the thing that we needed to get cleaned up. That's being left out as well. And for people running restaurants, hotels, travel agencies, textile businesses and small kirana stores, they need help from the government. The government needs to come out and, of course, reach out. And we provide this platform tonight and for most nights in the coming few weeks for the government to use it to communicate with these people, to help them cope, to help them get back on their feet. Because one thing is for sure, in the middle of the job crisis, which is where we are right now in this country, we cannot afford for more jobs to be lost. We cannot afford for smaller businesses to shut down because India stands on a platform of these small businesses. We have to help them cope with GST as quickly as possible in order to keep the sanctity of our economy going. That's a wrap on this urban debate for tonight. But like I said, we'll continue the conversation on GST to make sure that we get back on our feet as quickly as possible. Thanks for watching.